Good evening, people of faith. Let's take another walk. We're still on the topic and the subject of asking and receiving, or asking to be put in position to receive. How can you honestly receive the actual blessing if you put yourself in a position to move the blessing away from you? Okay, how does that work? Let's say if you're in a situation where you need money. Now, the person is actually awaiting money to come somehow through a typical way that it normally would. A quick lick or a job or whatever comes. The fact that you ask, like for a person of faith, the fact that you ask God for a blessing is the point in the position that you're asking Him to be in humility. You can't be put in position to be in a position to receive until you are humbled. No one likes to be humbled because this requires you to give up a lot of mess. Point to be made is, if you notice, the average company or gathering or function is a gathering of people who are hurt. We may try to go to an outlet that allows us not to appear to be hurt, but in actuality, we're hoping that scenery would change the perception of who we are inwardly. Case in point, we may go to an event, like a sporting event or some kind of entertainment, or even for some, a religious event, such as church service, etc. We want to change the perception of actually what we're dealing with, but we don't want to humble ourselves. So it's like we want to stay in garbage, but yet and still look like or appear as, or even sound like that we're royalty. It doesn't work. What God will ask us to do is to humble ourselves, which is to give us the garbage. Give Him the garbage. I apologize. God will want us to humble ourselves for us to give up the garbage. In exchange, He will give us a royal seat at His table. The problem is we don't want to leave the garbage alone, because to leave the garbage alone is to actually to progress. That means you have to leave everything that's attached to the garbage aside. In theory, hindsight, either way, we can say, oh, okay, that sounds like a given. We can go ahead and receive God's very best. But it's not that simple, because if it's that simple, majority of us, humanity, we wouldn't be in misery. Our misery is more than likely self-inflicted. Period. Somebody may say, well, the powers that be have the power. The only way the powers that be have the power is the power of trash. They don't have the power of victory. Victory comes from you. That's like if you had a home and I were to bombard my way into your house. Would you allow me? Majority of us are so beaten up with hurt, we refuse to let go of that trash to become royalty, so we won't allow more hurt to come in. How does that work? It's like we're a magnet to be one of the same. You ever heard of the statement, misery loves company? A miserable person or a miserable soul is going to draw misery. It has to feed. It has to eat. So if that miserable soul would let go of the trash, let's say it's hurt, more than likely it is hurt, through some form of way that may have escalated to fear or something more extreme. But let's say if they hypothetically they let that go, they now put themselves in position to be in progression. Now they're in a position to receive the blessing. The blessing is the progression. You can't be blessed by God because God is all good. You can't be blessed by God if you're going to stay in filth. It doesn't work. You have to change the inward attire. The soul has to be renewed, be transformed. You can't hold on to stuff, regardless if it was a day ago, 20 minutes ago, or even 10, 30, 40 something years ago. You can't hold on to that and expect, we would say, life or the universe to inherit us with some kind of royalty. It's not going to work. Anyway, good people of faith, just know that you are an option away of changing everything. Change is not years away or in the concept of time. Change is instant. Change is so good. Whatever happened never happened.